Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my show. We have a special guest today. He's a legend. You already know him, James O'Keefe. James actually dropped something brand new today, so I'm very excited to dive into what was he doing in Alaska and who got exposed this time. So, thanks, my co-host is joining me today. We are co-streaming this, so I'm happy to have Thanks' audience joining us too on multiple platforms. So, welcome, guys. Welcome.
And welcome, James. I just do a brief introduction. Of course, if you don't know, he is James O'Keefe from OMG Media. And recently he was just in Alaska and went to a couple of polling places. And he's got a story to tell us that he is just now breaking. Um, so I'm just going to let him go for it. I don't want to speak for him. It's a pleasure to be here with you right now. So why don't we hear it from you?
Great to be with you both. I've only got about 15 minutes. I apologize for the short notice. I'm in my office for like a day or two, and then I'm back on the road for 2 weeks. But I was just in Detroit, Michigan, Minneapolis, and Anchorage, Alaska, covering the primary elections in those three places every Tuesday of this month. And the first one, Detroit, we filmed non-citizens voting. People say that doesn't happen. We found two Iranian men who are not citizens. They shouldn't be voting, and they told me that they were going to vote. Minneapolis, this was like the biggest, most viewed video in OMG history. I went in dressed as a Muslim and vouched for 8 other people. Most people, I don't know if you knew, I didn't even know about this vouching law until Scott Pressler tipped me off to it. There's only 2 states in the country that have a vouching law, Iowa and Minnesota. In Iowa, you can vouch for 1 person. In Minnesota, you can vouch for 8. So that has shaken the foundation of the state. Every mainstream media outlet is publishing it, reporting it, attacking me. Secretary of State has called for my arrest. I don't know what they're going to arrest me for, asking questions. I'm not sure. No laws were broken. And then I went to Alaska on Tuesday of this week, and I got offered the ballot of Senator Lisa Murkowski's brother. Now, Lisa Murkowski is interesting because she is the holdout on the SAVE Act, which is before the Senate, and she opposes some of these stringent things in this bill. So the fact that we're being offered her own brother's ballot is interesting. Senator Lisa Murkowski put a statement out today, also calling for my arrest. Now, I've been threatened with arrest more times than anybody can count, but what makes me so different than perhaps the January 6th people is I'm an American journalist. I'm an investigative journalist. And I think that the stuff that we do, showing people, not telling people, and oftentimes showing them in their own words is perhaps the most devastating thing that we can do, as opposed to characterizing them or offering my opinions. I don't offer any of my opinions. I don't comment in these stories. I just show people with their own eyes and ears. They can make a determination. So that's the update. There's lots more to say, but that's kind of an overview.
We'll play a quick clip from it, but I just want you guys to know that I've heard so many things before this live event started that, like James is a Zionist, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you, I know James personally, and James is more of a patriot than many people that are in high positions today trying to arrest him, okay? So I'm sorry, but that is not going to pass here. So James, seems like no matter what administration is in power, you're always hunted. So why is that?
Yes.
What do you think? Why do you think that is?
I think what George Orwell said is freedom is the freedom to say that 1 + 1 = 2. If that is granted, all else follows. I'm a very unique. There's very few people that do this. I mean, there's a few citizen journalists, independent journalists, Cam Higbee, Nick Shirley. There's a few, John Cho, and there's a few people that do this. But I think what I'm very careful not to do is to opine on the subjects I investigate. I try to stay focused on the cold, hard facts. And we live in a world where people believe what they want to believe. So you mentioned there's some comments on the internet, like, I've seen some of those comments about everybody and you and other people, and
Absolutely.
people just say weird stuff. I don't even know what percentage of these people are bots or real humans, but people believe what they want to believe. And we're not really focused on facts anymore in this country. We don't agree on facts, which I think is very tragic. So the sort of journalism that I want to do is one where you don't have to trust me by virtue of the fact that I'm believed because I can be trusted. You just trust your own eyes and ears. It's first-person observation perspective journalism. In other words, you're seeing what the camera shows. You're not listening to me talk about it. You're watching it for yourself. And I think it's a very unique style of journalism. It's hidden camera based. And I think that's why every single, I mean, CBS, ABC, KTSU, whatever, Fox 5, Fox 9, pardon me, Minneapolis, they're all viciously attacking me right now. And I think the reason that's true is because we're embarrassing them. We're contradicting their narrative. And I think that's a very American tradition.
Absolutely. Guys, I want to remind you, James has very limited time. I know you guys have questions, so start sending your questions now because he has limited time, and I will try to do the question part before the show ends just so that he can get your questions. Okay, so let me show people what James does in a very short clip so you understand what he's talking about when he says, like, I'm basing my investigations and journalism on facts. So let's play this clip real quick.
Guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence by the military-industrial complex.
James O'Keefe, formerly of Project Veritas fame, has released a video today shot undercover by a citizen journalist.
So yesterday, James O'Keefe dropped a massive bombshell about the CIA spying on Donald Trump.
You have a top secret clearance?
Can I tell you that?
Okay.
What's shocking to see how stupid somebody can be.
I've always wanted to expose the military-industrial complex.
Brand new details about how Obama's CIA targeted Trump.
So what we actually found is he worked at Lockheed Martin.
Lockheed Martin has even been involved in previous scandals like price gouging, our own Navy, bribes.
I'm kind of in shock. Cheers. I kept racking my brain because I know Trump would be an angle I want to get into the conversation.
Was that like, is that?
Are you recording me?
No, of course not.
I knew I was busted. I knew in my gut that he was convinced that there was a hidden camera in my purse.
We do all this for one reason and one reason alone, and that's to get the truth.
All right, guys. So that's like part of very small bit of what James does. He always catches this, like, criminals, and they always run. And my best part is when he runs after them. So, and they don't want to comment anymore.
I do want to say, like, James, is there anything? I mean, this is our government. Like, people need to remember, and you've said it. All three of us have said it plenty of times. We pay for the people that are in office to represent us. We are their constituents.
Right.
Now, is there anything that could be construed as illegal or something wrong with what you're doing, or is it just the powers that be don't like being exposed, and that's just what it is?
Yeah, I mean, they have a tendency to kill, assassinate, sue, or imprison good people throughout history. And I think the media, one of the reasons they hate me so much is because I have inside myself what they lack. If you want to get psychological, evil tends to covet good because good has something evil doesn't, if you want to get spiritual. And just by virtue of the fact that we're just shaming them and embarrassing them. When you hold a mirror up to something, they want to hurt, they want to destroy the mirror, right? I mean, I've talked to Elizabeth about my former board member who says he wants to carve out my heart and eat it. He wants to kill me. Why would anybody talk that way? Well, when you hold a mirror up to something and you show them for precisely what they are. That CIA guy, you just played the tape. That was about the guy in the CIA who said, oh, we were hiding information from the president. That this is talking about Trump term 1. And we revealed him. Of course he doesn't like me. They're not going to like me when I'm shaming them and shining a light on them. It's very simple. This is why they don't like me. I mean, and I think there's something deeper and more profound, which is that if you want to be effective in this business, you're going to be hated and they're going to try to destroy you. So you have two choices. Number 1 is to be controlled, or number 2 is to be destroyed. So those are your only two choices, right? Be controlled or be destroyed. Now, I've gone with the second path, which is, okay, come at me, bro. And that's why you have a litany of, I mean, I've been sued 50 times. I've been threatened with arrest. I've been arrested by the FBI. People say, you're controlled opposition. Well, nothing screams controlled opposition like being arrested by the FBI twice, fired from the company I created, sued 50 times, deposed 12 times, had my guns confiscated in Florida 3 months ago, in the free state of Florida. That's unbelievable. And now I'm having Senator Murkowski and the Secretary of State of Minnesota threaten to arrest me. Why? Because I'm not telling the truth? No, because I am telling the truth. And the more truth I tell, the worse it gets. So most people choose to not be fully effective. They choose to opine, sit in a room and talk in a microphone. I very rarely do that. I'm doing it today. I'm promoting the story. I'm about to do a telethon. Most people choose not to be effective because they're afraid of being attacked, vilified, slandered, sued. I do not fear that. I care about getting the story. That's where my heart lies, and that's why people trust O'Keefe Media.
So we will play this clip when you leave so that people know exactly what you did, and we'll kind of promote this work because they need to know about it. But I have a question for you. So, when Trump administration came, we thought things would change, for better when it gets to elections, because we closed the borders. And let's give when credit is due. So Trump did close the borders at some level, but we still have this problem. Now we are seeing similar issues, whether it's messy elections or whatever. So what got you on this story? Why did you decide this was a very important story to cover?
I would credit Scott Pressler with that. He's the head of I think his organization is called Early Vote Action. Scott Pressler tipped me off about the vouching. When I heard it, I was like, are you out of your mind? Like, I couldn't believe. Have you heard of this vouching thing?
No, never heard of it.
Nobody.
Can you explain a little bit?
No, nobody. I've been on the media. Nobody has even heard of this. So I thought the very law itself was newsworthy. In Minnesota, I went there in January, almost got killed after the guy was shot. I forgot his name, but I was covering that story. And Minnesota is just a different place. If you haven't been to Minneapolis, I don't recommend going. It's like Mogadishu. It's like a third world country, and laws don't exist. The police left the city. So I was terrified. And I say all that to say, I was very curious. So we checked it out and we went there. And the vouching law says that if you are living in a precinct with other voters, you can vouch for them. And what the worker told me in the tape was, referring to me in Muslim costume, you are the ID for those 8 people, which is, it's certifiably nuts. So they're claiming I'm misrepresenting, but I didn't misrepresent anything. I just recorded what I saw. So I guess the question for the powers that be is, how am I misrepresenting the law?
Exactly.
By walking in and I asked a question. Hey, I said, you can watch the tape. You'll watch it after I'm done here talking to you. Mm-hmm. I said, quote, how does this work? By the way, that's a question journalists often ask. Tell me how this works. And the poll worker goes on to say, well, you are the identification for these 8 people. You are declaring that they live in your building or they live in your neighborhood, then they can vote. And I said, so I can go get 5 more people? They say, you can go do that. You can vote today. All I did was record that. Now, if I walked in wearing a tie like this, I don't know that they would have let me do this. But the fact that I went in with this ridiculous costume, I don't know what the technical word is for the Somali garb, but you could see the hat and the white long thing I was wearing. I don't know the word. I know the burqa is what Cam was wearing. It's almost like they were less suspicious. And I think that's that suicidal empathy that people have talked about. Now, again, I'm not taking a pro-Muslim stand, anti-Muslim, pro-Jewish. I know people get into these camps, which I categorically reject. And I hope you understand that. Yeah. I don't care whether you're pro-Jew or anti-Jew or pro-Muslim or anti-Muslim or pro-Israel. That is not what this is about. This is simply about the loopholes and vulnerabilities of the system.
Exactly. No, I agree. So quick question, since we are now in the US representing other people to vote, did they by any chance tell you how many people you can represent and vouch for?
They said
what
8.
is the limitation for this?
They said 8. And I think the data says there's 1% or so of voters in Minnesota have vouched for other people. Do you think that's insignificant? I mean, some elections turn on a few hundred votes, so
Exactly.
I think we're still trying to determine the scope. And a lot of people ask me, how prevalent is this? Well, I can tell you a lot of election law judges have reached out to me recently, so we're going to continue to report on to what extent this happens.
Perfect. And I want to get to some questions here because we don't have much time.
Yeah, we don't have much time.
Yeah. So someone asked, what was the last time you felt like the government represented its people?
Good question.
Well, that's a great question. I believe the people in government, I think there are some good people in this administration. I have met with them in full disclosure. I've met with some people in the Treasury Department who defunded the program I exposed in the Native American pass-through fraud. So there are some good people doing, but I think by and large, the problem is the people in the administration are trying to profit. Many people, not all, are trying to make money. So they're selling their influence. They're for sale. There is a legal form of bribery happening. And perhaps some people in the Trump administration feel that they're entitled to generational wealth. They've fought for the president for years. Now it's time to cash in.
Exactly.
But you didn't take an oath when you work for the DOJ. You don't take an oath to a lobbyist's bank account. Exactly. You take an oath to uphold the laws. So I think the problem is money. It's as simple. It's a tale as old as time. Follow the money. I think it's all about money. That's what I think with a lot of the people in Washington.
I agree.
And one more question. James, go ahead, and then one final question. And James.
Oh no, I was just saying I agree. I think that honestly, I think lobbying, Citizens United, and money being a voice, it's just this isn't America as it should be. You know, you're taking money, lining pockets, and your constituents have no taste of that. You know, they're not even probably interested in most of those things, and it's awful. You know.
So
yeah, and I don't know if it was that way years ago. I don't know if it's a law issue or an integrity issue. Like I could easily be like a guy, and I don't do this, by the way. Donors don't tell me what to do, which is so hard for people to understand. Like this is a concept so foreign that people don't believe me. But I don't. I choose what I choose the stories I do, and then I raise money to do the things that I think are newsworthy. But so I don't think it's a law issue. I think it's an integrity problem. You don't. I could be bribed. I just refuse the bribe. And by the way, I think the reason people don't bribe me is because they know that I'm going to secretly record them if they do.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense because I mean, if you think about it, they should be investing in you and your mission.
Exactly.
And somewhere along the road, it turned into them being your boss. You know, like if you don't do this, I'm going to pull the funding, and it's like
that's why I say it's all about money. It's difficult. Also, think of it. There's not a lot of incentives to do this. There's no money in exposing fraud. And you know, he was, well, why aren't people held accountable? Nothing ever happens to these people. Okay, my question back to you is, what incentive is there currently to hold people accountable? I can give you a lot of incentives against holding people accountable.
Exactly.
Look at all the shit they're trying to do to me. So if someone wants to follow in my footsteps or anybody's footsteps or Nick's footsteps, and you see the security costs are $100,000 a month to pay all the security detail, they're not gonna do this. You're not gonna make money busting bad guys. You're gonna make money being a bad guy.
Totally. Absolutely. James, I know you have to run, so I have only 2 questions. It's just people always pay for these questions, and I feel like we gotta, you know. So, Rundoc, if the election system itself is able to be manipulated, our votes will never truly count. How do we vote them out? Truly, it feels so defeating. By the way, huge support in the comments. I'm seeing all platforms, and they are like, "Go James!" Like we're with you. All of that.
Well, I think the solution. You may not like my solution, but let's try to be solution oriented. The solution is to expose them. Let me be less abstract. Right now in Michigan and Minnesota, I got election judges who are wanting to go on the record and say, "Hey, I've seen this myself. I saw the vouching in Minnesota. They're automatically having non-citizens vote." But those people are afraid.
I was about to say, what will happen to them if they go to
there's the rub, as Shakespeare would say. Now we're talking. there has to be an incentive for people to tell the truth. And right now, I don't know if it's the Treasury Department or the President of the United States has to create an economic incentive. There's KETAM, which is the False Claims Act. There's a law in the United States where you can blow the whistle, but that needs reform. That needs to be updated. So what I have to do is convince these people to self-sacrifice, jump on a grenade for your right to know. And it's a very difficult thing, but unfortunately, that's where we are in this country. We have to have people do the right thing, and we're trying to lead the way. We have this Justice League initiative where Cam Higbee and John Cho and Savannah Hernandez and Muckraker.com and other people were trying to get to the round table, come forward. But I don't think you're going to, quote, vote your way out of this. I think you're going to expose your way out of this.
I like that, because the only other way is armed revolution or something like that.
No, I don't believe in that. I think the pen is mightier than the sword.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so, because I like your way.
Benjamin Franklin said that one of the founding fathers who said, "This is a republic if you can keep it," and I know your audience knows that quote. Benjamin Franklin also said, "If I could choose between government and newspapers, I would prefer newspapers only." So Benjamin Franklin thought that the exposure and the informational part of journalism is more important than the Federalist paper, than the federal government. So
of course,
never underestimate the power of education. When you say nothing happens to these people, well, why do you send your children to school if education doesn't? Of course, educating people matters. It matters more than you know. So I hope that the election judges of Michigan and Minnesota do the right thing. I know it's going to be difficult, but we'll look forward to them going public.
Last question, and we'll say goodbye. Ryan, thank you so much. James, have you heard anything about the Association of World Election Boards regarding election fraud?
I have not. I haven't heard about that. No, what is that?
I don't know. James, you want to real quick tell me what he's talking about? By the way, people have so much information that we find out like on this show. So it's Association of World Election Board regarding election fraud.
So right here, I'll just pull up the Wikipedia if you want to check it out real quick. And then, all right, share tab.
All right, let's
go for it. So
go on.
The Association of World Election Bodies, commonly referred to as AWEB, was established South Korea, the first global organization of election management bodies. And the membership currently consists of 118 EMBs as members and 20 regional associations as associate members.
Okay, so I'm guessing this person is saying maybe this is where we should refer these whole problems to. But honestly, I don't believe in global bodies, Ryan. I don't believe that they are there for the right reasons. I would say it's another UN shit probably, and they probably won't do anything special for James here. So, but thank you for telling us about it. Well, James, what would you like to leave my audience with?
I think we're onto something here, and I wanted to inspire you to say that I have not seen the level of grassroots messages. For what it's worth, the videos in Minnesota were the most viewed videos I've done since the Pfizer story of 2022. I have not seen so many thousands, tens of thousands of local people telling us that we're giving them hope. And there's something about the tapes of the vouching that have really touched people and have galvanized hundreds of election judges and workers in the state to say, you know what, I think I might go public with what I witnessed. The challenge to overcome, if they can kill a president, they can kill me. If they can kill Charlie Kirk, they can kill it, right? That there's that old 60-year fear that's in the hearts. And I think we are on the verge of a groundswell where we create this momentum where people feel compelled to join together and go public and tell the truth. And we're kind of a band of brothers, and that's my vision here. I'm about to go live on my own platforms here at 8 p.m. Eastern to.
Well, we wish you luck. Yeah.
Do that.
Can I ask one question just before you depart? Sorry, Liz. What can we do? The audience, me, I mean, anybody watching right now, what is your message to to all of us and say, how can we help?
Journalism is always James's message, and he can talk about this real quick, but I love that. Citizen journalism is always his message, as I understand, right, James?
Yeah. I mean, what can you do is the second most frequently asked question. You can do this. You can blow the whistle. You can go with the camera and record, or you can donate to the people who do this. You can give money to us because we're a foundation. We're not tax deductible. So everything I'm doing here is philanthropic. I don't make a profit. And the third thing you can do is do nothing. Those are your three options. You can do it, you can donate, or you can do nothing. Whining and complaining, that's the fourth option. That doesn't work. It doesn't accomplish anything. I'm not your therapist. I get 1,000 messages. People want to complain and bitch. I don't have the time. I'm sorry. I'm in the office for one day and I got to go back in the field. So I would say you could donate to the people that are doing this. That would be probably the thing that you could do if you're not going to do it yourself.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, James O'Keefe. You're doing amazing work. I personally love you very much. You're a friend and wish you all the best luck. We'll play your video after you leave. But guys, if you want to check out James's lives, he has his own podcast. He has his own platform. I highly recommend you check it out. We'll give you all the links you need. Thank you so much, James.
Thanks, you for your time, guys. We'll see you at 8 o'clock. See you.
All right, cheers. Yeah, man, I can sense the frustration. It's sad. You know, it's sad that our country is persecuting good people, and we've seen it time and time again. You know, and it's just I hate to see it, man. And he's doing great work. So I mean. I
wanted to show people. So guys, first of all, let me give you a quick understanding like what's happening today. We have another guest coming in. We're going to talk about colored revolutions. This was something I had scheduled before, but because James had a story and he was available for today, we kind of made it so that both guests are in the show instead of just one. So you guys know I cover many different topics on my show, and colored revolutions is one of them. So stick around. Another guest is coming with some incredible information. But let me show you what James exposed today, and then me and Danks will dive into it. Danks, you had the video ready, but I don't see it anymore to pull it out.
Yeah, I have it. Sorry. Do you want to start with the Alaska one, or the other one is also 11 minutes? The vouching, I think it's the vouching.
Yeah, let's do that one first.
Okay, let me go here.
And guys, send questions. We'll get to it at the end. And once the guest comes in, you go ahead and send him whatever questions you might have as well.
Here it is. All right. Boom.
My bad. There we go. Okay, so here's how you see James in action, guys. Let's go.
Let us know in the chat. Put a 1 in the chat if you know James, if you know his work. Put a 0 in the chat if you do not know James, if you've never seen his work. Yeah. 1, yes. 0, never seen him.
I'm James O'Keefe, and this is vouching for 7 other Muslims at a Minneapolis polling booth. We're going in to this location.
What's that?
I said, can you make it slightly louder? I don't know if it's good enough.
Let me try. Yeah, that's as loud. Here, let me check my computer real quick. Yeah, it's as loud as it goes on here.
We're good. I think you did.
And I'm going to say that I'm vouching for them. The name is William Lawrence. The question about the vouching program, yeah? Vouching? I can vouch for them, but they are not registered. That's okay, that's fine. Can I bring 5 more from up to 8 people? Okay, that's a good thing. We go back and we get Krishna and Ernesto and Mohammed.
In Minnesota, you can show up on election day and vouch for up to 8 unregistered voters. Members of the Justice League dress up in traditional Muslim attire, including a transgender wearing a burqa, and put this vouching law to an extreme test on primary day, August 11th.
Gonna be a baller, shot caller, 20-inch blades, only Impala.
The vouching?
You're vouching for
I vouch for them.
Oh, great.
Is that okay?
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, if you're all in the same precinct,
Yes.
and you are already registered, which it looks like you are, then you can vouch for them as ID for them.
Oh, good. She says to me, I say they do not need ID. She says, you are the ID.
He is the ID.
See, I am the ID.
And no ID needed. I just vouch for them.
Well,
It's
you're
good.
the ID.
I am the ID. It's good. How many people may I vouch for?
What is it? It's
8?
I thought it was 6.
I can vouch for 8 people. 8 people, no ID. We come right back. Thank you.
Most poll workers we visited were willing to let us vouch with no questions asked, even when presented with the most absurd situation imaginable, while other poll workers did take issue with our investigation, revealing their awareness that something about this vouching system is deeply flawed or wrong, yet for some reason, they don't want us to expose it.
I can't have her see me.
Get down.
Baller, I'm a 20-inch crawler, blaze on them collar, diamond rock waller.
In Minnesota, voters can vouch for up to 8 of their unregistered friends. At the polling place, a registered voter from the same precinct signs an oath confirming that they personally know the voter lives there. This allows someone without ID to register and vote. And employees of residential facilities may vouch for an unlimited number of facility residents to vote at the facility's address. That's right, an unlimited number. While proponents emphasize that the policy expands ballot access for recent movers and senior citizens, critics view it as a potential for fraud. For example, if a voucher were to lie on this contract and allow 8 of his ineligible friends to vote, and the results of that election are announced on the same day, what happens when the oath is further investigated and it is discovered that those vouched for votes shouldn't have been counted? The results of the election will have already been announced and enacted by that point. This document shows that the election workers simply circle a number of the vouchees. There's no other identifying information. And Scott Pressler from the organization Early Vote Action says there is no list of these vouchee voters anywhere. When he requested them from areas like Duluth, St. Paul, Minneapolis, and St. Cloud, Minnesota, Pressler says they are nameless, faceless, and recordless. So we dressed in full traditional Muslim attire. We went in to ask if we can vouch for 8 of our unregistered friends, just to test the limits of this law and the willingness of election judges to go along with it. Only Muslim women traditionally wear the full face covering. So Cam Higbee was in disguise as my transgender Muslim wife.
So he's wearing the top, so basically he's not supposed to shake hands with a man. So what he does is once a man tries to shake hands, he has to do it.
With like safeties or ribs right here.
Oh no, I don't shake hands
You're going to be the female, or are we? Am I the voucher this
You're the
time?
voucher. We're the vouchees.
So I'm William Pomerantz. I am William Pomerantz. This is my.
That's great.
I vouch for people.
Yes, great.
I vouch for people for the vouching system. I have 8 people come from my apartment. This is going to be ridiculous.
It's going to be great.
We're going in to this location, and I'm going to say that I'm vouching for them. The name is William Pomerantz. I'm voting and talking about the vouching program. Yeah? Okay, here we go.
Look at you checked in right there.
Hello, this is the vote. The name is William.
The last name?
Pomerantz.
And does that look correct?
That is the date of birth. The question about the vouching. It's about the vouching program. Yeah.
I want to say something because I saw a comment. It says, "Journalism and breaking the law" at 436 from 3 Mortal, I think. If an operation requires committing a crime to expose a loophole, do you believe the journalistic end always justifies the illegal means? There's nothing illegal about it.
Yeah,
He's not voting or doing anything like that, right?
Yeah. So, and journalists rarely commit crimes when they expose stories, rarely commit crimes. And that's what, like, infuriates these people the most, because most journalists, including, for example, Assange, they never commit crimes. Remember, they had to get Assange on completely different charges, like some sexual whatever, some girl said something. Remember, they couldn't get him for the exposure because journalists rarely commit crimes when they expose something, and that's what pisses them off. James did not commit any crimes here, and he was doing his work. But yeah,
he's about to go in. If you want to, I'll play some more.
Yeah. Let me just.
I mean, yeah, I don't see anything. I don't know unless someone. I can see the chat. I think Candace is live. I didn't even think about it. Is she live right now? Okay.
Candace is live at the same
yes.
time. Yes, for
So
sure.
the chat is slow, so I can see what y'all are saying and stuff. So if you have,
Usually we are always good, despite the fact that Candace is live. But I don't know why it's so slow today. I am not able to get this video to go up again for some reason. I don't know why.
here, I'll share it again. 1 second. Try it now.
What? Well, now we are off for some reason.
Basically.
Oh, I don't know what's going on here. Okay.
Just add us to the stage. There you go.
No, we are not on the stage.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. Now add.
It's not working for some reason. I don't know why, guys. Sorry. Like can you do it again?
Yeah, here. I'll do it like this.
Yes. StreamYard has issues.
They've been having some issues lately.
Right.
Try that. I shared it a little differently. So
there we go. We're good.
Okay. There we go.
If I vouch for them, I can vouch for them. This name has I registered, but they are not registered. That's okay. That's fine. Can I bring 5 more? From up to 8 people. So I go get the rest of them and come and they can vote today. Yeah. I can just vouch for them that they are registered. Yes.
Yeah. So
okay, that's a good thing. We go back and we get Krishna and Ernesto and Mohammed, and we bring them here. We go get the other people and we come back.
Since you're already registered, you can vouch for up to 8 people.
I did not know this. I thought they can only vote 1 at a time. Yeah.
Well, you each only get 1 vote, but you can vouch for up to 8.
That is great. I will go do that. We go pick up the rest of the people. We come, and then all 8, I'll vouch for them.
No.
Thank you so much, man. I'll see you. Thank you. We go get Muhammad. We come back. Okay. Success. We go in. I say, the name is William Pomerantz, and they tell me that I can vouch for up to 8 people. I say, we go back. We get Ramesh. We get Muhammad. We get Rishnu. We come back. We vote. They say, no problem. We can vouch for up to 8 people. And we're going to go get the voters and come back, and then we shall vote. No ID needed. They're not registered. No problem, they say. I said, not registered. They said, no problem. You can vote if you're not registered. So that worked. Let's try it again.
Let's do it again.
Pause for a second.
No idea.
So that guy, rewind, like that guy just standing there in a burqa, like not saying a word is so funny.
I know.
He's just there with a burqa, like not saying anything, just like standing there. It was very funny. Sorry, guys.
I think a lot of people might get rubbed the wrong way because of the things that he does in order to get the story, So
why would it even be an issue though? Like what rubs you wrong way right now, Danks? Like if
nothing rubs. I mean, if I looked at it, it's like, okay, well, you're the only thing I could say, and I'm just Christian American, right? But I don't know, maybe him dressing in the garb and all of that is
oh my gosh, I've done that before. I've dressed in a burqa before just to get a story. Like, I mean,
and they make you, and when you go to their country anyways, it's like, as women especially, right? In some countries. So
totally. Like I did that in a Muslim country just to get a story. So I don't think why that's an issue. That should not be an issue. And especially in our country. I'm sorry, but why should that be an issue? You know what I mean?
No, it shouldn't. And I think like these are.
Go on.
Sorry, no, you're good. No, sorry, I overtalked you. But this is America at the end of the day. So I mean, if he wanted to dress up like Jason with like fake whatever all over his shirt and fake bullet holes in his shirt, he could. It's like whatever. This is America. So. I don't have any problem with how he does it. I think that someone said something great in the comments. They said, what matters is the information. And I think that is the perfect way to sum up all of this. Is the drama is a distraction to get you away from the information because they don't want you knowing this stuff.
Absolutely. I see you guys in the chat. Thank you, Scotty, so much. Renee's here. All of you guys are here. Scotty's like, subscribe. Yes, please do. Guys, if you missed at the beginning, James O'Keefe was our guest today, and he just exposed this story that apparently now in America, you can just vouch for people to vote. They don't need to identify themselves. As I understand, they don't need anything. You can just vouch. That's crazy. That's like legit crazy, guys. This is what ruins countries. So if I was the enemy of this country and I showed up and I said, oh, I don't have to register because this friend of mine can vouch for me that I'm voting for somebody. What? This is crazy. So we are seeing these stories through. James sent us this on OMG as well. So we're just watching this video to kind of cover this story fully, what James uncovered. So you want to give like a quick intro for people who are just joining us? Like,
yeah, I'll pull back and then I'll share it again. So I believe this is in Franklin Avenue, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Now, what he is basically showing us is that he dressed up in the garb because of the precincts. I don't know how all of this stuff works, like religious precincts or if a precinct has a certain designated group. I'm not familiar with how all of that stuff works, but for whatever the case is, I believe that's why he dressed up in that outfit, to kind of fit in, because what other cultures, there's not many Americans that have 8 people that they need to vouch for, right? So he's trying to basically get into the culture, because that culture is what seems to be the ones doing the most of the vouching. What he said was, what the numbers look like is about 1% of voters, they say, or report, are actually vouching. But if you take 1 and you turn it into 8, you're outvoting. They're all probably going to, most likely, can't say for sure, but most likely they're all going to vote the same way, right? Because they all have the same agendas, because they're in the same family, or they live together, or the same neighborhood, or
them Danks. Like, you vouch for them. That means like, this person will vote.
Like, if I vouch for you, like, you better vote. You know?
Yeah. So this is crazy.
So that's kind of what it is, really. And it's a big deal. I didn't know that this passed. He didn't know that this passed. And so he's showing us this, and it's a big story, because we've been trying to move towards voter requiring ID. We've been moving towards, or at least hoping to move towards, all of this stuff where either migrants that aren't able to vote, or illegals, or whatever, should be getting out of the system, not in it and further along. But what we're seeing is, even in Minnesota, after all of the corruption that they apparently did with Nick Shirley and all of these things, why this now? Why this now? So instead of money, you're just going to vote now, move the corruption to something else in the same state? Like, what is that?
I wonder, like, if this vouching, like, I just vouch this person, you don't have to know who he is, he's gonna vote in your elections, whatever, like, I just vouch for this person. So I wonder if other cultures are also doing it. Like, I just want to know what cultures are doing it, you know what I mean? Like, not just Muslims, but I bet there are other cultures that are doing it. Like, James is now developing this story, so I bet we will hear more about this. I will follow this story for you guys, and I will constantly put it up, like, what evolves, as it evolves, and we'll get to it. So we'll get our guest here in a second. Let's finish this video. And our second guest is already in the studio. I will bring him up in a second, guys. We're done with James O'Keefe's investigation almost, and now we're moving to college revolutions. So we'll get to your questions a little bit later, but let's finish the story.
Perfect.
I do not have ID. There's a problem. Can you sign something?
And you don't have ID either. That's the biggest scam, I think, is that you can, as long as you know their name and their address, you can show up and vote in their name, no verification required.
But it looks like you may have problems.
You want me to ask? Check it out now.
What we could do is just reposition.
He's gonna go alert somebody.
Does he work there?
And the white shirt told him about us.
I can't have her see me.
Get down.
Oh yeah, they're recording.
Get down. Just watching radio with somebody.
Probably think we're ICE.
There's a piece of paper here. Additional ways to register: vouching by registered voter who can confirm your address. A voter can vouch for you. The voucher must live in your precinct, personally know you. I can vouch for up to 8 people, no problem. We're going to go in. We're going to ask, can we vouch for 8 people without identification?
home of the camels. I am at home with the camels. Oh, camel. Hello, good day to you. The last name is Shimizup. They're with me.
They're not voting?
They with the vouching. Yeah.
You're vouching for.
I vouch for them.
Oh, great.
Is that okay?
Yes.
How does that work?
Well, if you're all in the same precinct,
Yes.
and you are already registered, which it looks like you are, then you can vouch for them as ID for them.
Oh, good. If they do not have their ID, is that okay? I vouch for them. How many people may I vouch for?
It's
8?
I thought it was 6.
I can vouch for 8 people. Oh, good. We can go pick up Mohammed and Ranuzu in the car outside. Good. The question about the vouching again, I can vouch for 8 people. Yeah.
In your precinct.
In my, they live, yes, in my precinct. That is so wonderful.
Yes.
That is such a good American tradition. She says to me, I say they do not need ID. She says, you are the ID. He is the ID. See, I am the ID. And no ID needed. I just vouch for them.
Well,
It's
you're
good.
the ID.
I am the ID. It's good. I'm going to go get the others and I'll come right back. I'm just in the car. Okay?
Oh, they're in the car?
Yes, ma'am. They come, but I did not know that it was 8.
All right.
So 8 people, no ID. We come right back. Thank you. I know the audience is probably thinking this is completely ridiculous, but what we found is that by dressing like this, it's actually less ridiculous to a lot of the local Minneapolis people here who are less suspicious of me dressed like this versus going in normal James O'Keefe clothes. You can't make this stuff up. James O'Keefe reporting from Minneapolis, Minnesota on primary day. Let's get out of here. This investigation.
All right, guys. So this was great. I mean, I love watching James in action. I'll show you some more videos at the end of this. So if you guys don't know, James and I had a merged project. We did a show called American Swiper. And I'll show you some of it at the end of this show. You will love every minute of it. This is the part where he exposed the CIA. We put it together as a show. And the other one is how Disney started changing princesses and princes, and like they wanted to make Ariel black and, you know, just make a new princess. Like, you don't have to imagine if Ariel was black and we changed her to white. Like, what a scandal it would be. But it's okay to do the other thing, right? So that kind of stuff, that's like stupid stuff that Disney got involved in and doing all this, you know, we had an episode on that. So I'll show you all of that at the end of this whole show, just as clips, and you'll enjoy that. But let me introduce our guest because he's already here. We are moving on to a different topic right now, colored revolutions, guys. If you don't know what colored revolutions are, those are revolutions that CIA conducts overseas. So revolutions in Ukraine, for example, revolution in Georgia, and similar. Those are colored revolutions. We've done this in different places in Latin America. We've done some, you know, secret revolutions by the CIA. So my guest learned all about this. He's a great researcher. It's his niche, and he's done some amazing work. Patrick Pillow is my guest today. I'm going to bring him on and he can introduce himself to you guys, and we'll continue. Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for coming, Patrick. I can't wait to dive into this topic because it's so damn interesting, especially given the time where we are literally bankrolling Ukraine overseas, and not just Ukraine, but we are also bamboozled into these lies that, oh my gosh, Ukraine is our ally. We should do this. But not many people know what we actually have done in this country and who's to blame. So you were kind of, your information was given to me by Scott Hornton. My audience loves Scott. You and Scott know each other, and you did this research for him or for yourself?
Well, I would say he's the one who really inspired me to get on the ball a little bit. I would say his book, Provoked, right here, is just stellar research, and really got me interested in writing about the color revolutions to kind of start with. So, and then I also write for the Libertarian Institute as well.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about yourself right now. So, you have Libertarian Overwatch there. Tell us a little bit about that before we dive into the story.
Yeah, so I started the Substack of December of last year, and basically there we've just been covering tons of color revolutions. We started back in the year I was born, actually, in 1997, and kind of catching up to modern day. So every year just capturing different ones. We had, of course, the big ones, the bulldozers, the rose, the orange, the jeans revolution. And then some years we do have to stretch it a little bit. 2008, we were looking at the April 6th movement in Egypt and kind of how it was a labor protest rather than the full Arab Spring, which I'm currently working on right now. And just every year there's different youth groups, there's different organizations, there's different domestic concerns. And so just being able to put all those together and see how it changes year to year, country to country. And I would say basically when you're looking at them, there are a few kind of tenets that you're looking at. One of the first things you're going to see is those genuine domestic concerns. In Georgia, the power was like a big one, and a lot of people spent their winters in the cold. You were seeing members of Shevardnadze, like his nephew, driving a Rolls Royce around in Georgia at the time. In Kyrgyzstan, you're seeing the prices of heating and everything going up so much, and not only in 2005, you also see it in 2010. And then, of course, there's always the geopolitical aspect of it as well, whether in Georgia, the BTC pipeline being just a massive one, and being able to bypass Iran and Russia. And then when you're looking at Kyrgyzstan in 2005, also the Manasseh Air Base, which is kind of competing with the Russian Kant Air Base as well. And then you're also looking at independent.
We'll dive into all of it. So you're good. Some of the people might not know when we mention those things what we are talking about. So why don't we start with what is a colored revolution?
Yeah, so I'd say in terms of a color revolution, you're really looking at if you're able to take some of those things together and there's a change in regime, a change in leadership. Sometimes it is based around an election season, but that's not always the case. When we were looking at the Cedar Revolution in Lebanon, for example, it was around the assassination of their leader. So it can always vary depending on year to year, but for the most part, it is around the election time. And then you see things, what they call exit polls, which is conducted in a lot of cases from U.S. kind of sources, especially when you're looking at Georgia's 2003 Rose Revolution or 2004, the Ukraine Orange Revolution being the primary ones. But basically just having someone who is priorly in power being replaced by someone else. Unfortunately, in a lot of the cases, it does not necessarily mean better things for the country. Kyrgyzstan is probably the best example of that, where in 2005, the people in Kyrgyzstan were very excited and hopeful for change. Just 5 years later, we have another revolution throwing out who's replaced the prior one in 2005. So that's kind of a general kind of background of some of the color revolutions.
And would you say that these revolutions, are they prepared before any overthrow of a government even happens? Like, what's the stages? How do we even get to that point?
Yeah, I would say it definitely depends what year you're looking at. I think in Serbia, that was kind of a long-term kind of one where we have OK 98 back in 1998 with Slovakia. So kind of the outline was already kind of set there a little bit. And it started to really gain some momentum with the group Otpor, which is the foundational kind of youth group, which we've seen that same logo, that same group in Georgia, in Belarus, in tons and tons of countries. In that case, it was definitely one where there was a long-term kind of plan. Some of the other ones, like in the Rose Revolution, they mentioned it quite a few times where it was more of a long-term plan, and they didn't expect in 2003 for Saakashvili to come into power. They expected instead for it to be in 2005, but then just as things on the ground started developing, they said, well, 2003 is going to be the year that it happens.
Totally. Let's talk about Ukraine, because I really want to dive into some of the stuff that happened in Maidan, because Georgia survived like the second attempt, so they are fine for now, but Ukraine is absolutely bleeding. So let's dive into colored revolution in Ukraine with Yushchenko, the poisoning of Yushchenko. And I believe you said you tied something with Yushchenko with Brett Pascal's trolls, which was like even crazier. I was like, wait a second, how is that even possible? Because I'm exposing Israeli trolls on Tucker show, and not just them, but also Ukrainian trolls. And here you are like tying Yushchenko's. So guys, if you don't know who Yushchenko was president of Ukraine like a few presidents ago. We'll talk about that. He was there before colored revolution, before Yanukovych. But he was like a Western puppet, and he was too weak, and they let him go. It's crazy. But yes, please take away.
Sure. Yeah. This is one of the, and the other thing I would say with these color revolutions is there's always like a story within a story, and this is definitely the one that I kind of latched onto. I was seeing this a lot through Justin Raimondo's writings on antiwar.com. Fantastic writer, and he had a lot of articles kind of saying that he didn't believe that Yushchenko was poisoned at all. And so that led me to dive in a little bit more and try to figure out, I just remember one Saturday just sitting at my laptop. I want to know everything I can about this poisoning kind of situation. I've also been able to talk to some of the primary people kind of involved as well for further information on things of that nature. But yeah, so the poisoning, it happens around September 5th, which is when there is a meeting with SBU. I'm gonna try these names. I might butcher them. I'm gonna try my best. So it was Smeshko, it was Datsyuk, and Zavania. And Zavania was actually the godfather to one of Yushchenko's children. And so there are a lot of like kind of weird, suspicious kind of things with the dinner itself. There were some like orders to remove protective detail by members of the SBU. And it's right afterwards that he starts feeling kind of sick. And his wife notices this, and she says, like, when I kissed you, it tasted metallic. And so he eventually goes to the Rudolf Innerhaus Hospital, which is known for treating international patients. And there was a Dr. Korpan who arranged his admission to the hospital. And very instantly, like, the opposition seized onto the idea of a potential poisoning. And that's a big thing here, too, is that whatever side, I guess you would say, you were on in this situation, both of them took certain kind of narratives and ran with it, to the finish line, as it were. And there was also another doctor named Dr. Lothar Wick, and all along he was saying that I don't think there was any poisoning. And the reason for this is that the poisoning that he had was called TCDD, and it's a dioxin kind of poisoning, like a very extreme one of it. And you needed very specialized testing for it. And so this specialized testing doesn't get done until December. Mind you, this dinner was around September. And so it was Bram Brower who was able to use that TCDD testing at that time and say, yes, he was definitely poisoned. And there's a piece in the link.
Of course he was poisoned. His face changed. So he was poisoned for sure. Thanks. If you don't mind, can you pull up Yushchenko, his picture? You will see like his face. So his face was different, and like these scars from the poisoning. But my own opinion always was, Patrick, that he was poisoned by the West just because he didn't have enough support.
Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness, I had never seen this.
Look at this, guys. So let me explain real quick for people who have no idea what's going on. We're talking about color revolutions, how West approaches foreign countries before the revolution, who they recruit, who they have in power, and so on. So one of their puppets was Yushchenko. This guy never had support, okay? All of a sudden he gets poisoned and his support just like goes up like crazy, right? But he survives though. I mean, he gets poisoned, seriously. He survives, but his face gets permanently, what do I say to that? I don't even know. I don't want to be disrespectful. Help me, guys. What word can I say this? Permanently damaged, I guess. I don't know. So here is how he looked after the poisoning, okay? He's former Ukrainian president.
Yeah, I've never seen, this is terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, look here, I just click on one maybe.
That's healed already. That is healed. Like if you go back.
Yeah, even healed. Okay, let's go back here. I mean,
like
my
that
goodness.
Oh, this is so bad.
This one?
Yeah.
Look at this one.
Yeah.
My goodness. Here, let me open in a bigger tab.
And this is
here it is.
Season 2, which is really important to notice because, having a fake, how you present yourself too is very important during election season. And so having this, it definitely changed the narrative totally on the ground.
Wow. What did they? Okay, so we don't know exactly what was used, but it obviously looks like he's been poisoned or something. Happened.
Oh yeah.
Have they offered an excuse or a reason for this besides the poisoning?
This is where the story gets crazy.
Please tell us.
Yes, so it's basically the 3 doctors. The Dr. Korpan I talked about who arranged the meeting for him to go to this hospital in the first place, and then Dr. Lothar Wick, who really all along is just the way he phrases it too in some instances is he essentially doesn't want it to be seen like they are a part of the Ukrainian. I mean, this is during election season. Like, he doesn't want to seem like they are politically involved in this. He just wants to treat it as a doctor, essentially. And there's also Dr. Zimfer, who's right in the middle. Now, where the story gets pretty crazy and where the note poisoning kind of comes from is that there is actually a piece in Reuters at the end of September of 2004, and they say that it is baseless that he was poisoned. And this story in Reuters comes out even after the hospital was closed for the night, and it got repurposed in both the New York Times and Radio Free Europe. And those articles are still available right now, and you can readily access them. So the question became like, well, how did that narrative kind of appear there? So it was through Tri Media, which they transmitted this statement through Euro RSCG in their Kyiv office. And it was from Kuchma's son-in-law, who is Viktor Pinchuk.
Hold on. Kushner's?
What was that?
Did you say Kushner?
No, Kuchma.
I what? Like, what does Kushner? I was like, okay, that's weird. Sorry, go on.
Kuchma's son-in-law.
Yeah.
And he essentially said he would finance the hospital communications because his businesses would be threatened by the privatization plans that Yushchenko would have if he does, win the presidency. And so they then used Dr. Lothar Wick, where they set up this press conference with him. And I saw a few different sources. There's one on Pravda where they say it's like a video kind of press conference. And then in other ones, they were saying that it was at the hospital itself where there was this press conference that they had. And people were waiting out the door to come and arrive, where he would say there was no poisoning. And so, as I mentioned, in December, they eventually say that, yes, this TCDD is established. And even later after the fact, Dr. Korpan is saying, oh, Wick was lying because of this reason, and all will be revealed later. Well, years later, it never arrived. So essentially, what we're getting to here is this Euro RSCG eventually in 2012 becomes Havas Worldwide, and that is the organization that Parscale was funded through, was Havas Media. So,
Can the audience give me a clap on the back, please? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please proceed.
Thanks. Give Patrick a little breakdown on this Havas Media. You will know why he's laughing right now, because you know how involved we have been in this through Charlie Kirk, and you say that is absolutely crazy. So thanks. Tell him what's going on.
So I built a website, americansfortransparency.org. The reason why I built the site is because I found Brad Parscale taking money from Israel through Havas Media Group, Germany and US, I believe. There's two. And to the tune of tens of millions of dollars. He is he's a C-suite strategist executive at what's the Salem Media Group, which is a pro-Christian, ultra, Zionist media machine now that's getting pushed around by the money from Havas Media. And it's not only that, the Trump family owns stake in Salem Media, and they're all got their hands in. And Brad Parscale is at the center of Israeli propaganda in the United States, and they're targeting Christian Americans. And Charlie Kirk's show was their #1 podcast. So they've been spreading the message for Brad Parscale, whether they know it or not. They're being funded by a registered foreign agent. Brad Parscale is a foreign agent registered for FARA. So that's why this is all very ironic.
So Patrick, tell me more about this. Tell me more about Havas involvement, because this is where everything ties in. And guys, when I went to Tucker, I talked about this. Israel and Ukraine are run by the same people. Do you see the connections now or not? You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how these globalists are come in all circles. So please tell us more about it.
Yeah, and then and before I even get there too, I also wanted to mention that because I know you also had mentioned the Integrity Initiative. And so when we're talking about like using narratives to paint a picture, Integrity Initiative, took the Yushchenko poisoning and was blaming it directly to Russia and saying, we're going to use a human story to convey it and stuff like that. And I do want to mention Kit Clarenberg. He pointed me in that direction, and he is a fantastic journalist, always having some really great documents and things like that. But yeah, no, essentially kind of what you mentioned. it's just crazy seeing that evolution. And some of these organizations that during my research of the color revolutions, and seeing that evolution of how even in modern day, the ones that were in the early 2000s, they're still around in some way, shape, or form. One of the ones I pointed to in Ukraine was this website that was oh man, I'm blanking on the name right now of it. But essentially they said we did the de facto branding, we did the color scheme, all these kind of things. And the partnerships that they had, it was NATO, it was the CIA, and all the quotes that they had immediately after the fact was, "Oh, we've never been so involved in democracy until today." But then once it gets reported in the Wall Street Journal and Russian media, a lot of backpedaling. Essentially they don't want anything to do with it. And then in 2017, that company becomes chief, and then it is still getting $100,000 in USAID funding for environmental something or another. And just like I said, seeing how these organizations over time evolve, I think has been one of the more interesting things, whether it is the NGOs like your Freedom House, like your Open Societies, like the NED, the USAID.
Give me more on this evolvement, because again, like I was absolutely shocked when I heard that they had so much backing when they approached our veterans and they said, we'll pay you in whatever you want. Do you want NGOs like to get involved? Do you want this nonprofit? Like, we'll pay you through nonprofit. We'll pay you through, if you have LLC, don't worry, we'll pay you through your LLC. What do you sell? You just let us know. It's crazy how they learned to avoid FARA. The only reason Brett Pascal went through FARA is because of the multi-million-dollar campaign that they couldn't run through anything. So they knew that this was going to be like millions a week. And it would raise a lot of questions and they would get caught. And then when they get caught, they're going to expose the bigger ring. So they were like, you know what? We'll allow Brett to go and register under FARA. We'll just, push millions and millions and millions on him, while others are doing the same work. You're muted. Thanks. I'm sorry. Were you talking?
Yeah, I noticed that, but I didn't want to. I was just going to say it's like in the first 6 months of his FARA contract, I believe it was $9 million a month. And then it went up, I think, like 4x from that now. I don't know for certain. I haven't looked as of right now, but yeah, they upped it.
And the worst part, guys, we pay Israel this money. Just so you know, Israel without the US money would not exist, okay? Like, we feed this monster. And of course, it's not just us. Europeans feed the same monster, but we are just the cash cow, okay? No one pays Israel more than we do. And of course, what happened with Ukraine and United 24? Whose money they were using to bribe our vets? Ours. We sent this money to them. It's just
that's the sadistic part, is that we send it in foreign aid, and then they send it back as their foreign aid, and then they use it against us. It's like
propaganda money.
As propaganda machine money. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Tucker said it the best. This is a humiliation ritual. Like, they almost tell you you're a nobody. Look what we do to you, and you're so stupid. And it's like, yeah, Americans are waking up to it, cockroaches. Let's see who's stupid now. It's just so unbelievable that they thought they could get away with all this, So anyway, I don't want to stop Patrick from the whole story. So first, like, Patrick, tell me this evolution with these NGOs and all of a sudden these nonprofits. And now they've learned that if you're a nonprofit, it's not good enough. You have to be religious nonprofit. Why do you think all these pastors are out there? Like, if you're a religious nonprofit, right, then you are not accountable for freaking anything. Like, you're a religion, you're off limits, right? So tell me what evolution you saw, and then we'll go back to Ukrainian colored revolution, because I want to play a few clips, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think the best way to capture that is through some of the color revolutions of looking at those NGOs. One of the best examples I can give for it is there's this excellent French documentary called USA Conquest of the East, and they get just unbelievable access to Bruce Jackson from NATO, to Saakashvili, to all these individuals. And one of the craziest ones is with Freedom House. So I had read this in the Wall Street Journal, and it's one thing to just read it, but then to actually see it is a whole different kind of thing. And so you're seeing with Freedom House, it's this guy named Mike Stone, and so they are running the opposition press, and it's this newspaper called MSN. And on the front page, they're kind of trying to contrast those who are in power and showing these mansions and contrasting it like right below on the newspaper, just people who are in poverty, who are struggling, who are, very hungry. And you can see in the documentary, they follow him to the plant where they printed off at like 3 a.m. at night, trying to avoid the authorities and just going in the, like I said, in the middle of the night. And when they get there, one of the funnier quotes is, because this, I think it came out in 2005, I want to say, and this is before Iran's Green Revolution, but Mike Stone goes, "I want a green revolution, money." And it's just, I'm watching it just in shock that this is being filmed and released to the public. But even later on, you then get complaints from the people who are having that printer, and they're saying, yeah, Freedom House, it's not even printing quality paper while we're doing it. And so just seeing that evolution, and a lot of the times, one of the things that I think is interesting too is you don't see your Otpor, your Pora, all these different kind of groups, the youth groups as they were at the time. At this point, it seems to be kind of transitioning into those like civil society organizations. To refer back to Kit Clarenberg, he's done really great research on Nepal and the group, the organization Hami Nepal. So a lot of the ways I think they are trying to put it through like a certain organization like that, where it's not as readily available or able to find. In my research, Internet Archive has been my best friend, because a lot of this information is like not available on the internet anymore. It's been removed in some way, shape, or form. Of course, with the changes in USAID that happened last year, that also makes it a little bit more difficult to find some of these things. But just seeing that influence and the way that it impacts independent media. One of the ones that I wanted to highlight real quick too is Rustavi 2 in Georgia is just a massive example of like support for independent media. I mean, the revolution itself was named by a journalist from Rustavi 2. And this is the news channel.
You remember the journalist? So Rustavi 2 is one of the major channels in Georgia, guys, so you know. So Georgia is a country very similar to, well, I shouldn't say similar to Ukraine. Georgia is a much better country. It's like a full-blown European country right now. But yeah, not even comparable, but it's just ex-Soviet country. So that's why I'm always mentioning this too. And these two, Ukraine and Georgia, were always like a subject, guys, for the Western powers, these globalists. They wanted to conduct revolutions so that they had their own puppets, so that one day they could attack Russia. That was the plan, okay? It failed in one country. It succeeded, obviously, in another one. But Rustavi 2, so Rustavi Ori, which is Rustavi 2, was one of the major channels in Georgia, and it was absolutely in the hands of propaganda puppet government during Saakashvili. But then something happened, and Patrick can take away from there.
Yeah, no. So it's they a lot of times it was compared to B92, which is like the radio station in Serbia that the opposition used, and it was a point of contention for multiple different times. There was a journalist, Georgi Sania. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Sanaya. Okay.
Georgi Sanaya. You're talking about his murder.
Yes. Yeah. So he was killed in 2001, and that led to a lot of protests at that time. So, like I said, Rustavi 2, it's like a buildup of multiple years of where you're seeing it being right at the forefront of Georgian politics. And the journalists were funded by Internews, another NGO, and they even had one quote where it said that they gobbled up all the training that the journalists could find there from Internews. And on it is showing like the lavish homes of Shevardnadze and cabinet members to really portray that message. And then they're even airing ads for the youth group at the time, and they're fined over $100,000 for doing so. And in the lead up, they're frequently airing the Serbian documentary of bringing down a dictator, which just shows how they took down Milosevic in 2000. And this is shown on repeat. They have giant projectors outside kind of showing, what the methods were that were used at the time there. And even the CEC, the commission, they're even right before the election, they're airing, Rustavi 2 is airing the youth group's messaging, and they're saying that if they falsify the election, we're going to jail them, essentially. And so they're going to get fined, right beforehand. And then eventually, like, I think it's maybe 2 weeks into the protest, the CEC actually does cancel the accreditation of Rustavi 2. But Rustavi 2 is the one that does eventually air the exit polls. And that's the thing that a lot of Georgians saw in 2003. And they saw that Saakashvili was the winner, where in other results, you're seeing that Shevardnadze was the winner. So creating that clear contrast And it also kind of goes hand in hand with the newspaper 24 Hours, which is also a Open Societies funded newspaper. And I think on the day of November 3rd, where they had that initial results, they said the authorities were defeated by Rustavi 2 exit polls. So just showing like how important that channel was at that time. They even had a very goofy cartoon on there where they were mocking Shevardnadze called Dardubala, I believe it was.
Dardubala, yes. That's like you're talking about my childhood stuff. That is so true. And guys, this is how important media is. I always say this, media is everything when it gets to your education. And unfortunately, the globally started absolutely taking over, in Eastern Europe. And now we are feeling it here in the US. Like, it's crazy. And my European friends, colleagues, journalists, they always tell me, when we are feeling this pressure from Israel and all this, goons from the deep state, they are like, well, welcome to the club. We've been feeling this in Europe forever. Okay. So now you feel this, guys, in the US. And unfortunately, it got to this, that we feel this here because no one stopped it overseas. And it was our own intelligence agencies and Britain and Germany, all these people who were pressuring and murdering journalists overseas, and we did nothing in here. And sometimes we didn't know, but when we didn't know, we didn't do much. And now we are literally experiencing the pain in the US. We allowed this machine to grow. Okay. So that journalist you were talking about, he died too. They killed him. And it's absolutely crazy. But to go back to Ukraine.
I want to hop in real quick. Yeah. Tucker, you might have seen it. No, you're good. So you might have seen Tucker. He interviewed the Floridian American citizen, born citizen. His son died in Palestine when he was visiting family. Then, so it's that episode. The last half of the episode, Tucker has a journalist that worked for a Christian, a Catholic news organization that was on the ground in the West Bank working with locals. And out of the blue, they told him from the CEO, all of the Catholic organizations that are doing this journalism, no more coverage at all from that area, hands down. If you do cover, the only sources that they've been allowed to use is the IDF. No more locals. That's what we're dealing with now. And this is a Catholic American journalist company. It's terrible.
It's unbelievable. And I heard a story today, guys. I'm going to have him on my show. I won't say who he is because they will attack him right away. So he was overseas and he came back, and he's a creator, journalist, very young. So they questioned him at the airport, of course. And they said, in the US, guys, not in any other country, in the US, they told him, you tweeted something. We want to know, why did you tweet this? And he was like, excuse me? This is happening in the US, guys. So he comes from overseas. He was there visiting, girlfriend, whatever. So he comes overseas. You know what the tweet was? So this person is a very close friend of mine. You guys, well, thanks, you might know him. So he's an independent creator. He tweeted a bunch of stuff about Trump. No one ever bothered. He tweeted a bunch of stuff about other people in the administration. No one ever bothered. You know what bothered them the most? They pulled up a tweet about Ben-Gvir. And they said, how dare you tweet, not in this word, but why did you tweet about Ben-Gvir? And he was like, are you serious? Are we in Israel? I will tweet about Ben-Gvir as many effing times as I want, okay? And I will tweet about dear Bibi Netanyahu as many effing times as I want. So it's crazy that an American creator is stopped at the borders and they are asking, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? What?
When we're watching these people now, they're trying to scare us from saying anything and from going and coming to and from. And that's what I see when I see this. And it's, I don't know where to go and how to stop this. I mean, that's one thing that I constantly get stuck at a loss at, is I feel like we're very rapidly losing. We're just losing. We're losing freedom. We're losing our finance. We're losing our rates. We're losing our country. So
country, thanks.
I get a little not know what to say ish because I don't know how to stop this. Usually I'm a person of like receipts and solutions, and right now I don't see anything but just receipts and no solutions.
Absolutely, and I guess the best way to do these things is not be afraid. Cannot be afraid. Like, that's it. You can't be afraid. We keep doing what we're doing. Money, no money. Like, none of us live well. Like, we are like very average, usual Americans. Like, we just keep doing what we can. And anyway, yeah. So thank you, Patrick. And please continue on this because it's so important. Colored revolution happens. They literally pick the cabinets. We know that voice recording of Victoria Nuland when she's literally picking who's going to lead Ukraine, and he's like going back, and she's going back and forth like, oh, but that person doesn't have this or that. I mean, like, I'm sorry, who are you, woman? Like some fat woman from US? Like, what are you doing again? Like, it's so crazy. But it's very interesting that her husband is a graduate of Skull and Bones, by the way. People should know that. Yes, he's an official graduate of Skull and Bones. He was at Yale University. So when this whole thing happened, they wanted to portray it as a natural revolution, okay? So the only person that did justice to what happened so far in terms of documentary was Oliver Stone. Would you agree with that? Patrick,
I would say.
Would you agree that? Yeah, so I want to play something, a clip from Oliver Stone's movie or documentary that he did, where he actually interviewed the president that got ousted and people who were in charge. And it's like some of it is in English, some of it is subtitled. So guys in the chat, stop fighting for a second and pay attention to the clip real quick. So I'm gonna screen share this for you guys. 1 second, and then we can comment on it, Patrick, real quick.
I'll quickly say while you're getting that up, I don't think people take seriously enough organizations like Skull and Bones. They're all part of the same. They all have the same. They come from the same book. It's all the Freemasonry.
Yeah.
But I highly encourage people to understand what that is, because it's not just, oh, my grandpa was amazing. It's not what people say it is.
Yeah.
It's not good. I'll tell you that.
I agree. So 1 sec. Let me just share this. Can all of you see this?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
You
can we do this?
You can push that. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so.
And turn it up a little bit.
So this is Colored Revolution and how they overthrew legitimately elected president in Ukraine.
24 числа первое было нападение на кабинет министров и первое нападение на сотрудников правоохранителей, которые охраняли. Второе нападение на правоохранителей службы безопасности Украины произошло 25 числа. Затем небезызвестное событие 30 числа.
November 30th of 2013 became the first turning point of Euromaidan, and one of its most reported and mysterious events.
Я тогда немножко расскажу, как видел эти события я. Был звонок мне от Попова, глава администрации города Киева. Он говорил, что давайте вот сегодня мы хотели бы завозить оборудование для новогодней елки на площадь. Я ему объяснил, что до тех пор, пока люди находятся на площади, то этого делать нельзя. В районе часа ночи, когда вот массово люди начали расходиться, разъезжаться, значит, я поговорил по телефону с руководителем службы безопасности Украины и спросил его точку зрения по развитию событий. Он сказал, я считаю, что, слава богу, все закончилось. Вся информация идет о том, что все закончилось. Потому что фактически с 21 числа, я вот в кабинете просто жил и спал там какое-то время, может быть, там 2 часа в сутки удавалось поспать. Около 3 часов ночи я приехал тоже к себе домой. Завел часы на 6:30 утра, включил телевизор сразу же, когда проснулся. Он у меня был настроен на 5-й канал. И Пятый канал демонстрирует большое количество скорой помощи, и там побитые люди.
After riot, police attacked peaceful protesters with clubs.
Happened in the early hours. The eyewitnesses that were there said that the police did use truncheons.
Меня, честно говоря, пробил просто холодный пот.
So I want to say something real quick. So I believe this when he says I was in cold sweat, because here's what's happening, guys. I watched this go down in Georgia as well. The unsuccessful part of it. Okay. So why are these people like, what is he talking about? Let me explain what is he talking about here. Okay. So when a foreign country is funding your useful idiots and your press to overthrow legitimately elected government because they don't like it, because they don't like that they are not globalists and they are not going to give out resources to BlackRock and similar people. Okay. People in the government are like, I feel huge empathy for them, because I saw Georgian government get old. Like our prime minister in Georgia, even like when this whole thing happened, like I saw him get old, like literally, because they are under so much pressure. And it's very sad to watch, because and to be in my position, especially because I was born in Georgia and I practically became a person in the United States to who I am, right? So for me, home is the US, but there's a special love for Georgia as a country. And for me to see my birth country's leaders go through this shit because of my country's leaders here, it's absolutely insane, because you don't know what to feel, you know? So, but yes, I mean, I saw them literally not sleep, like coming out, making like statements. Patrick knows this. He investigated this. And thankfully, they survived the revolution. They learned from this revolution here, what we showed you. They learned all these like tricks that the CIA and other people do, not just CIA. Let's not blame CIA for all of it. I think CIA in many cases are the nicest. In many cases, it's like British intelligence, French and Germans are worse. So so my point is, they are under serious pressure, and they know that this is an artificially made protest and amplified, and it becomes violent artificially. So what do? Do you just like go and let them destroy your city? No. Do you just let them kill your people? No. But Ukrainians allowed that, unfortunately. And this guy here is in government saying, I'm finding this out on freaking TV, that the clash is happening, and I'm in cold sweat. Why is he in cold sweat? Because that's the last thing he wanted as the government official, because once that's happening, then you are ousted, and he knows that. So it was not the government who attacked these people. It was never coming from the government. It was the least they wanted to do. So they were trying to get this over with. Now, Patrick, like, what are your comments watching this?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that just stuck out to me just watching that, I have actually not seen that yet, but Channel 5 is another one when we were talking about like independent media and things like that. When we're going back to 2004 with the Orange Revolution, that's actually the first one that airs the egg incident. So for those maybe not familiar with that, is right around the time of the Yushchenko poisoning, to go all the way back to that. We also have an incident where Yanukovych gets hit by something and he just like falls down like this. And they said it might have been a battery, it might have been this, it might have been that. And then Channel 5 is the one that airs it. And I compared it to like The Office with Michael Scott, where they like pan and they take it and they show, and it's an egg that, you know, caused that to fall down. Channel 5 like is like, I guess you could best compare it to what we saw with Rustavi 2 in Georgia, of, you know, really being able to bring about a certain message for the opposition. And so being able to present that, I cannot stress enough, the independent media in these countries has been very crucial. And to go on one that's really not talked about a whole lot is with Burma and the Saffron Revolution. Mm-hmm. So much of the independent journalism is through, you know, U.S. funded organizations. And in fact, their very first kind of internet support was in, I believe, 1994, and it was through the Open Societies Foundation through a $3,000.
When you say independent journalists, like, explain to people what you're really talking about. So propaganda machine, not really independent journalists.
Sure, yeah. And I would say too, though, that at this point, like going to modern day, I think a lot of the cases is that one of the things I've been covering is the Albania protests with the Flamingo Revolution. And because I was very confused by it all, where, Rama is very pro-US. So I was very confused by the angle of why that may be the case now. And I think it's just been like a decade of building up the civil society sectors and things of that nature, where you have the Balkan Investigative Research Network, which comes out in like the 2000s. And so now we're having articles from them that says how to successfully do a protest, that came out, a month or two ago. So all those things were kind of already set in place. And in fact, one of the funnier quotes I had was from someone in the National Democratic Institute, which you have like the National Democratic Institute, and then you have the International Republican Institute, which the IRI was chaired by John McCain for about 25 years or so. And someone from the NDI said, they told me that this isn't a career, like this is my life, of just that emphasis of, something that should just be a job.
Right.
Oh, it's something a lot more,
It is a lot more for these people, even with Brett Pascal. I mean, look at their doxing people. Their life goal is to hurt Candace. Like, it's almost like these demons, like, get up to, like, get high on this stuff, Like, it's, of course, it becomes their life goal because they are pathetic, miserable little cockroaches and freaks who are literally, they have no other light in their lives. Like, they are miserable in their families, they are miserable with their marriage, they are miserable with their kids. Many of them are sexually frustrated. Like, if you look at these people, like, I'm telling you, when I investigated these trolls, all of them are the worst scums of the earth. So of course they agree, because it becomes their life. Why not? What else do they have? They have nothing. So of course it becomes their life goal to go after and conduct like these kind of revolutions as a media source or whatever. Like, it's so pathetic. And honestly, like, I'm not as nice as many people when it gets to these people. Like, I would put them in jail if it was me, because you're committing an act of treason to your country. Like, what is other? What do you think? Okay, so Brett Pascal registers under FARA. Okay, great. So we know you're an agent. What about these other go-arounds, like with these nonprofits and stuff? You're not committing a crime just because you found a legal loophole. You're not morally betraying your country. Of course you are. So stop it. Stop it. It's just crazy. So I want to get to some comments, guys. A Barnes is in the chat, my man. So,
you mean you're his girl?
no,
He loves
let me just see some of the chats, guys, before we continue, and then you can ask Patrick whatever you need when it gets to revolution. So we've got some new members. That's for you, thanks.
Welcome, Daz.
Thanks.
Memberships. Thanks, Amoroso. The real Amoroso. He hates it when I say it like that. Amoroso.
Sorry. Hey, Burns, Elizabeth, you're the greatest woman journalist of all time. Oh, thank you. Have you connected the dots with Trump, Rothschild, and Poroshenko through Russian? No, Poroshenko. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, Rothschilds are everywhere, so I'm not surprised that Poroshenko's, corruption may be tied to Rothschilds, but I'll look into it, actually. Let me just take a screenshot of this real quick.
I sent it to you already.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So do you know anything about this, Patrick? Do you know anything about...
Unfamiliar, I gotta say.
No?
I got nothing.
All right. So this is more...
Thank you, Mimi. Thank you, Mimi. Appreciate you. Thanks for the $10, I think. Thank you.
Hey, Burns, we're back. Most college revolutions are backed by mega corporations that want to rule the world. BlackRock in Ukraine, of course, Rothschild, Trump. Next thing you know, guy playing piano with the PPE's press. That's Zelensky, guys. Yes, hey, Burns, you are correct.
I was so shocked when I had no idea Zelensky was that exotic dancing weirdo dude. That was so weird to me to see. And it was while I was watching Abramovich video or something. It was so weird. Speaking of Freemasons.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that he actually performed in front of Putin. There's a video of Putin laughing at his performance because he's a fucking clown. Excuse me.
Yeah, he's dressed like I don't know. It's weird. Goth tranny. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
No offense if you are. I guess it's all you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. New member on my channel. Thank you,
Hey.
over 50. Ooh. Okay. A. Burns, without naming a name, describe the person that you expect to lead the revolution and what do you think will be their main motivation? So revolution where? Like in Ukraine or? Well, Ukraine is developing. There's some very strange developments in Ukraine. Are you following that, Patrick?
A little bit. I gotta say, I'm not as I'm really on the color revolution mode, so I'm following like what potential countries are in color revolution mode right now, and there's actually a lot. Georgia comes to mind, Nepal comes to mind, Indonesia comes to mind, the Philippines. Armenia, I've been covering a ton of over the past 2 or 3 months. So
yeah, so there is a challenger now for Zelensky. There's a real challenge for Zelensky right now. He recently fired someone from his cabinet, and I think Ukrainians are getting to the point where they are realizing that there is no real like 30s to 40s men left in Ukraine, and they need to do something about something. And I'm afraid that they're going to change the bed with worst, because that's what it looks like, quite honestly. But I hope not. I don't know. I have zero hopes with Ukraine, but whatever is left, I hope they will make a right choice. But I don't know. They're quite engulfed with their globalism. So
Forgive my. Oh, go ahead, please.
Oh, sorry.
No,
I will say Scott Horton has an article about this, about Beletsky, and he's really fearful of Beletsky becoming the new leader of Ukraine.
Yeah.
And he makes a very convincing argument for it. So.
Oh, absolutely. That's he's right. He's right. It's going to be like 2 times worse than Zelensky, and Ukraine will be gone completely unless somehow they come to the understanding that, okay, so we literally don't have a meat grinder anymore. So it's going to be either Europe, stepping in, fighting Russia, or we got to stop, which I don't think they will ever get to that rationality that no more killing is the answer here. I think they like depopulation. I think they like the blood. I think they want it more. So we'll see. That's for you, thanks.
Hey, Ivan, good to see you, man. Keep going, Max, bro. God bless. God bless you too. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. It's been a while. Thanks for dropping by.
A. Burns, Project Stargate, controlling the algorithms. Do you think Larry Ellison was behind the murder of George Webb? mRNA curing cancer, right? Oracle is listening and spying to control. So I don't know if he was involved in murder of anybody really, but Larry Ellison is one of the most despicable humans out there. I mean, this guy is, to me, probably one of the most dishonorable, despicable humans. So yeah, I mean, he's listening to everybody. He's trying to like dominate the market. He's trying to enslave Americans. I mean, there's nothing good about this guy. Nothing. I can't even say he's especially smart or anything, but none of these people are. If you pay attention, guys, these people are not very smart. They are just very corrupt, and they are willing to do what you're not going to do and win that way. Not because they are mega smarts in anything, really. It's very sad. Right.
And they go at, they work at this for a long time.
Sorry, which one was?
It's okay.
Yeah, go.
I apologize. I would say just look at what Jeffrey Epstein, people say he's such a genius, and then you listen to him talk and you're like, this is genius,
Yeah, I don't understand it. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's very sad. Yeah, he's not genius. He was like writing like a 5-year-old.
Oh, I almost forgot what I was gonna say. Sorry, let me.
Sorry
these
about that.
people? No, you're good. You're good. All good. You're a guest, please. What we have to realize is that Oracle is an older company, so they're in for the long haul. They've got a 100-year plan, alive or dead. So they start small. Oracle was like a data company helping like healthcare orchestrate and organize their medical, whatever, all that stuff. And they slowly started getting into every single digital technological niche to where now they are the hub of data for every company basically, besides like Google and stuff. And even then, there's partnerships all over the place. So they've been at this for a long time. And to think that anybody can stop anything now is, it's like imagine you have been working your whole life and you built something that's worth billions of dollars, if not trillions of dollars, actually. And then what? You're going to just stop now because people don't like it? No, absolutely.
No, he's not going to stop things, but we can stop him. And that has been an example over and over again in human history. You can stop him. We can stop him. So of course he's not going to stop. What, you're going to talk sense into Larry Ellison? No, he looks at you like a nobody. You're a sacramental, lamb for him. You're a pig. You're a nobody. Like he's the guy who needs to decide everything. Like he's talking about it too. These people believe that there are certain elites that needs to rule the world. Period. You're not changing their opinions. Your empathy is not taking well with these people. They don't care. You got to treat them like they treat you. So they treat you like a cockroach, you treat them like a cockroach. The only difference is that they are cockroaches, in difference with us. So anyway, yeah.
And it's funny because they are the actual cockroaches, and they actually think that we are the most vile, repulsive cockroaches. And it's not about for them, it is about religion, I think, because back again to the Masons, they really don't like us. You know what I mean? They think poor people, Christians, and even atheists, they think that we're all repulsive because they believe in the opposite of Christianity. So they're willing to go to that demonic length. They are serving that. I'm going to do a members only live on Saturday, and I'm going to cover what I'm talking about right now. So all the members, it's 99 cents. Be there on Saturday, 11 a.m. PST, because I'm going to have to do a deep dive on that stuff.
Absolutely. This is absolutely crazy. But yeah. So Ryan, my man, thank you so much. A good book to understand color revolution is Fire in the Minds of Men, Origins of Revolutionary Faith by James Billington, who was a chief librarian for the Library of Congress. Have you read that book, Patrick?
I have not, but I do have my two favorites right beside me. So I'll share those ones. One of them I already shared. It was Provoked.
Please do.
That's the one that got me into it. The other one is The New Cold War by Mark McKinnon. This one is absolutely stellar, and it has just great interviews he was right in the heat of it all. It's a Toronto journalist and like a left liberal kind of leaning journalist, but he just gets such stellar interviews with Yulia Tymoshenko, and it's very like a lived in. He's drinking, at the hotel bar, and then he's like, "Oh, I hear the protests are going on outside," and goes right in and is able to meet with them. And I don't have it right here, but there's also another one that I just discovered called Time of the Rebels by Matthew Collin. Same kind of thing. I think those two most recent books I mentioned are fantastic because they have direct quotes from the youth group and, what they imagine their impact to be. I believe it's in the New Cold War where Saakashvili said the U.S. help was more than 5,000 Marines, which is one that always just kind of stuck with me into the back of my brain back there. So those are the ones that I've read that have been fantastic.
So explain to people why that's funny.
Well, he's just essentially, after the revolution's already happened, saying that, hey, the support we had for independent media, the support that we had through the various NGOs, that really helped carry the revolution, I make a point of this too, where, sometimes I do, and I think in almost all the revolutions, there is that genuine domestic, upset for some reason or another.
Of course.
So I always like to mention that. But I also mentioned that, with your later revolutions, would you even have that perception of U.S. meddling if you didn't have a Serbia, if you didn't have a Georgia, if you didn't have a Ukraine, where it is so blatant? Like, I'm not just going to, a libertarian magazine that's underground. I'm looking at the Washington Post. I'm looking at the Wall Street Journal. I'm looking at the New York Times, where in there, Bill Clinton is saying, Milosevic, he reached the death threshold, so he's essentially got to go. Was CIA involved? I don't know, but if they were, I wouldn't have a problem with it. These are all just, the most common newspapers that you can read in the U.S. So
absolutely. I mean, we had the biggest Voice of America everywhere, and all this Voice of America was like completed with CIA agents. It's crazy. By the way, wasn't Tucker's dad there too? It's so funny. Tucker doesn't hide it. This whole like fact. So his dad was working as one of the main figures as Voice of America.
Yes.
I'm
I
not
have
sure.
a quick question about that because you said you were in Georgia around the time, correct?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so because I was reading, it was Richard Carlson. He had the article about Soros and bringing in the roses and things. I was just curious because he did mention that it was like around $42 million that came in like the span of like 3 months and things. When I was looking at the OSF, I saw it was like between 4 and 5 million for that year that was going to Georgia. Did you see anything like whether it was like the buses, whether it was like that significant inflow? The reason I ask is because I know Georgia is around like 4 million at the time, where in Iran, which has like 90 million for the Green Revolution, we saw about 20 million. So I was just curious if you had any insight.
Yeah. So I was very little, so I would not even remember if I saw anything. You know, I was very little, but I remember what happened after when I was in high school and the continuous help that Saakashvili got from U.S. and British government is unbelievable. By the way, guys, if you want to know what happened with Saakashvili real quick, so he comes into power, the revolution happens, and guess what? Not only, you know, he gets all these NGOs and support and all this, like, I mean, yeah, he got all the support from the US, but Saakashvili started chirping an interesting song that we never heard before, which is Israel is our best ally. And the same thing, like he always said, Israel is our greatest ally, one of the greatest allies, blah, blah, blah. So for Georgians, it's like little, like, you know, like what does Israel have to do with any of this? But yes, he did a lot for Israel as well when he was in power. And he was like always warmly with Israel and all that. So it's like a package deal, I guess, you know, for the globalists. Like if you're in power, Israel has to be always on the good side. It just goes to show where the real, you know, center of attention is when it gets to globalism. And that's with Israel and, you know, the states they own. Now they have Ukraine fully after this revolution. So they're like, well, Ukraine, one of their puppets, fully controlled, is also the second center of their attention. And it's very, very visible in our, you know, media. So before—
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because this is all new to me, and then, you know, my global history is not very good at all. This color revolution, because of not understanding Ukraine, it seems a little, I don't know, something about it, but Iran is front of headlines. And I think for me, that is a bit easier to understand because I also am Iranian. I'm American, but my parents are from Iran. So it's fresh. Is there, and it's in the headlines. Is this what, are we doing that there as well? Is that a colored revolution or not?
So I would say the way I kind of like to label it is I would say some of them, color revolution to me means more covert, not necessarily the overt. Because like, for example, what happened in Venezuela, I would say that was like more of an overt operation rather than like a color revolution, where we're kind of operating through those NGOs. Now, there is some stuff that we've mentioned at the start of the year in January with those riots, which Trump himself has talked about, of trying to like flood in weapons. So something like that, which I hope to, at once, you know, well, I'm currently working on Tunisia in 2011, so I'm a decade behind, but hoping to dive into that a little bit because I do think that's an interesting color revolution kind of tactic, as it were, where weapons sometimes, especially Kyrgyzstan in 2010, it is very, very violent there. I mean, we're seeing independent journalists getting tied up and by their arms and their legs thrown out of buildings. We're seeing them trying to storm the parliament and snipers are on the roof shooting at people, around 100 dead. So I don't think what's currently happening in Iran, I mean, it's very, every day Trump has something to say about it. So I don't know if I would say it's like a color revolution. I would say it's more like an overt kind of operation.
Gotcha.
Operation. We got to the point where, well, with Trump, it's always like that, right? So at least you can appreciate that he doesn't hide. Like he came in with full dictatorial attitude, right? And he said, yeah, I'm going to be a dictator and suck it up, right? At least that's what we have, and we see it clearly. But with Clinton and Bush and
we didn't expect the lies, though. You know what I mean? It's like that's the problem. But if if what they say, and we've all heard it, believe them when they tell you who they are, right? And it's not about what they're going to do, it's who they are, and you can't change that, you know.
Absolutely. I gotta see the last one. Renee, girl, thank you so much. Sending love funds to Add to the Future Trolls. Thank you so much. We're actually prepping a lot of good episodes. Like I said, tomorrow, guys, we're going to do cults, sexual abuse, and all this stuff that got hidden in Utah. And it ties into a lot of things that you might want to see. So tune in tomorrow. Is going to be crazy. Like, it's going to be a crazy episode. My guest investigated all this. Not just my guest. Fox 13 investigated on this whole topic, and it got hushed up because of certain people in high places. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Tune in. Next week, we're going to have some big guests talking about the third party. Me and Nate will partner up again. So one thing I've noticed, guys, many of you don't have notifications on, and you're not getting notified, unfortunately. And then I get messages like why you didn't get notified. So hit the notification bell so you get notified. Lastly, like, thanks, before we wrap up, any questions for Patrick? Any questions, guys, for Patrick in the chat? And if not, like, Patrick, did we leave out anything?
Well, I just got to say, you're an impressive young man. I'm blown away. You're just. I'm glad to have been here and to see you speak and to listen to you and be on stage with you. And I'd love to do it again. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, no, it's been fun. It's, I guess, like, I'm in year one of my journalistic career as it is. But writing like 11,000 words about the Green Revolution in Iran in 2009, for some reason that interests me. So I'm very eager to keep on with this. Like I said, thank you so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Of course. And why don't you tell us where we should find you?
Sure, yeah. So if you go to Substack, it's Libertarian Overwatch. I also write for the Libertarian Institute. So every week I have some article coming out there. The most recent one I had was about how USAID helped sponsor Cuban hip hop. So if you're looking for stuff like that, that is on there as well. Every Wednesday, I'm doing the Anatomy of a Regime Change series, where I will be having either part 1 or part 2 of the given year. So right now we're in Kyrgyzstan 2010. But we may also have stuff like the USAID Kyrgyz-funded cartoon, Beshtentech, where they talk about anti-corruption. So
wait a second. Now you have to tell us, what did they do again with hip hop? What?
So it's Cuban hip hop, where just through USAID, they said, hey, we want you to promote this certain kind of message. And essentially, these different groups, they didn't even know that this was being communicated by USAID, because once they were told about it, they were like, whoa, I didn't know that this was something that the US was behind. Like, once again, this is like people who genuinely are upset about Cuba, and then behind it all is USAID operating. They also did it through Zanzio, which is it's kind of like Twitter, but for Cuba, where they explicitly referred to Iran in 2009, Moldova in 2009, of trying to create a Cuban Spring right around the time of the Arab Spring.
Right. But what did they do, though? So what was the campaign? What was like that about? So they got hip hop artists to sing something, or what was it?
It was, they would review what lyrics were being said. They had these different meetings. There was this one place where they would all kind of organize. And they were also behind one of these big festivals that had like thousands of people there. And that was around the time where they kept on going with the show, even though they knew that it was USAID behind it. Like I said, it wasn't until later that the acts themselves actually came to realize, oh, wait, USAID is behind all this. So it was a crazy story.
Yeah, nothing is real, guys. Nothing is real. Everybody has an agenda, and you might be like, promoting something and not know whose agenda it is, and you're like, oh, shoot, I'll jump on this bandwagon, and all of a sudden, CIA is pulling the string. Yeah, it's very sad.
And especially as journalists and reporters, you never know who you're getting into business with. It's so funny because when Elizabeth and I started hanging out and doing shows, and like we're always talking, so it's like we're just like, man, talking about these people that just get taken out because they were working with somebody else, and then they accepted money, and then it's like, boom, you're in jail. It's like, I didn't even know what. So
yeah. And then the thing was, like, we always do checks, right? Like when someone approaches me or something, I always go, guys, like, thoughts, do you know this person? They're like, because you get approached all the time, right? Like you buy an American or something. Oh, I have a story. You gotta be extremely careful. Like, I don't trust anybody. The only people I trust are the people who have tested and they've been there, and the test of time is there, all of this, right? I do not accept foreign stories. I do not accept like some guys or girls I don't know. So yeah, you got to be very careful, because you can be duped as a journalist, because if you're a threat, that's exactly how they're going to do it. They will approach you with friendly face or something, or someone like with a great story. You have to cover this story, and then you end up accidentally like Alex Jones. They completely destroyed Alex for what? For what? Like stupid stuff, like, you know. So it's very sad. Well, I guess I shouldn't say they destroyed Alex, because Alex is more powerful than they are at this point, but they tried to, and they destroyed his company. You know what I mean? And they are till today trying that, because they are still calling them a Zionist shill. But anyway, so last one here. A. Barnes, as you guys know, this is my guy here.
Where can I get me an A. Barnes? Can I get a B. Barnes? Jeez.
Yeah. Like, well, maybe he likes you. For we wrestle not to get sorry. He almost.
I just had a baby. I'm married. All right, another baby. This is my first show back from just having a baby.
Woo! You're not today. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Oh yes, and you have no idea. That's what I'm going to talk about tomorrow with this freaking satanic people. And guys, if you told me that 7 years ago, I would call you crazy. I would be like, what satanic cults? Like, there is no such a thing. Like, get lost, whatever. Oh my God. Oh my God. Like, people really do this stuff. People really do sex abuse, like ritual sex abuse, all this stuff. We're going to learn that tomorrow. So tune in. All right, guys. So I want to say, I know Patrick was here for an hour and we kind of went over, but Patrick, thank you so much for coming, for all this information. I'm certainly going to have you again when situation escalates somewhere. You probably will know. You probably will know how. So thank you so much. Go check out his work, guys. And as far as me and Dengs goes, do you want to see some of the clips that I told you about, yes or no, in the chat with James O'Keefe before you go? So either yes or no with James O'Keefe and his work. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Nice meeting you.
So
what a great show.
I was going to show you like a quick thing that me and James did together, this show, like a quick moment of how he operates. So we have two yeses. Let's see. Maybe people are tired. We're tired.
Nah, show it. They're here for it. I guarantee.
Okay. Let's go, guys.
And corruption.
This is American Swiper with James O'Keefe. And it starts now.
There are thousands of woke corporations pushing their radical, racist DEI policies on their employees and customers. But a company like Disney is doing it different than most.
There's no way we're hiring a white male this world.
See, Disney has a massive influence across so many demographics through their multiple brands. Disney's reach and influence is far and wide. It touches almost every segment of society here in America and around the world. And it's woke propaganda with a Mickey Mouse smile.
My name is Raider. I'm the chief investigative journalist for O'Keefe Media Group. Our team is always looking into subjects investigation for corruption, scandal, lying, cheating, stealing, whatever it may be.
I'm Starlight, and I'm an OMG American Swiper. What we're looking for at O'Keefe Media is to find corruption, to expose corruption, to find corrupt actors. We want to expose people who are pushing these racist DEI quotas, who are lying to the American public, who just are completely complicit and absolutely fine with pushing agendas that intentionally divide people.
Now, journalists come to me every day and pitch their subjects of investigation. Some are good, some we pass on. It just depends on what we're looking for.
It all started when Starlight, that's the code word for one of our undercover journalists and American swipers, matched on the dating app Hinge and went on a hidden camera date with Disney executive Dave.
So guys, real quick, they do this, James does this, like some hot girls on a dating app to get these people to talk. So that's like partially how he operates, which is very funny.
Mocker, who originally gave us some insight into Disney's discriminatory hiring practices, even going in so far as to say that Disney CEO Bob Iger might be, quote, corrupt.
Do you think Bob Iger is corrupt?
Now, yeah.
Bob Iger could potentially be very influenced and perhaps even compromised in terms of where his interests lie with Disney at the company.
But if you wanted to get a top job in Disney's C-suite, you better be a white Jewish man.
Do you think that they wouldn't hire, like you're saying, a C-suite who's not white or not Jewish?
In entertainment, no.
He talks about how they literally keep a spreadsheet tallying all of the quote-unquote diversity candidates that they have in all of their shows.
Do they have like...
If you're not white Jewish or Jewish, I guess you can get a job.
They have like a director of color.
Sorry, what was that?
I was gonna say in entertainment, so that's like on camera, huh? That's crazy.
Crazy.
So that way we're good. That I can say.
Main cast member is black. Okay, check that box. One of the writers is gay. Check that box. He talks about how LGBTQ is pushed into areas where it's not even necessary. Well, let's just put it into kids' shows because, well, that's just how the world is now.
I feel like in our show, we insert diversity when it's not really like organic to the story.
It's
it just stands out. Like this just feels like a weird
orchestrated.
Yeah, you know, that's the word, orchestrated, right?
They are actually forcing DEI into places where it doesn't even need to be.
So with this information in hand, our Disney radar was up, and as luck would have it, our swiper who matched with Mocker matched with yet another Disney executive.
By total coincidence, I'm on the dating app Hinge and I match with Michael Giordano. It said right there, Senior Vice President.
The Senior Vice President of Business Affairs at the Walt Disney Company.
Totally different guy. I knew that there was a story brewing here, and I could see that there was a lot of depth to the corruption and the propaganda at Disney.
We've never seen undercover footage like this before.
And it was that's when things got really interesting.
There was a thing that Elon tweeted, I think today or yesterday, in response to one of these things at Disney.
There's no way we're hiring a white male this one.
Where one of the guys at Disney like openly said, I would never hire a straight white man.
So I headed over to the gates of...
Isn't that crazy?
That's so crazy.
So I'm going to show you guys when they actually matched, and this guy's double timing her. Like, this is how crazy these people are. Hold on. So anyway, it's all about racism here, but against white people. They want everyone else but white people, but you also have to be Jewish, I guess. I don't know. So so this is your Hollywood today, and let me just go to where this guy gets caught like dating two girls at the same time. Hold on.
Family member married to some prince that Americans don't care about.
Like, I have like a lot of black friends who like are not as dark as so do they care about that, or it's like the ethnicity actually?
They say they don't care about it, but the truth is, to some extent, they do. If you're mixed, right, you don't look black at all, which sometimes happens.
Yeah.
Then they're like, oh, I'm not so sure. But if you're mixed and you can tell somebody's part black, but they're not like that black, then okay, that was still, it's crazy.
But wait, how exactly do they decide who's black enough?
Hold on.
Apparently there's a Meghan Markle blackness.
Yeah.
So he said it though. He said it's crazy. So it sounds like he doesn't agree.
He doesn't agree, but he goes with it, right? So that's the whole point. Like, James doesn't go after these people because they're absolutely guilty themselves and they're orchestrating stuff, right? They're part of the machine and they are okay with it. That's why he goes after these people. Like, they're just a link, right? Like, so here's the guy who happily accommodates all of this, works for the company that does this and has no problem. No problem.
Yeah. For the paycheck, I'll just keep my mouth shut and we'll keep rolling.
Yes. Hey,
That is no integrity. That's just, I get it, I guess, in some regards. You know, if I think about, unfortunately, I needed my job during the 2019, 2020. And, I went along with it because I needed to get paid and whatever. And I didn't, but it's like, to the extent of harming the future of your country that you're running a business in, a big business, I see that a little differently. If you have the power as a C-suite executive to say, no, this is not okay, well, then maybe they'll fire you. And then you get stained, your career gets stained. So it's like,
that's the thing though, Danks. I don't think your career gets stained. I think as an executive with all that experience, you can do just fine. Okay. But people are conditioned into believing that your career will get stained. But that's not true. That's not true. Like when you have this and you have the experience and you know how to operate, I'm sorry, but that's only cowardness not to leave your job and say like, you know what, my career, fuck it. Sorry, I said I'm not going to use F words anymore. F the career. Like just go and do the right thing. You will always be rewarded with the right thing. Just look at the people. Like people are so, do you think these people have a lot of money? No, none of the people in the chat have a lot of money. They are still giving questions and paying money because they are supporting the work. So I'm sorry, but I was offered a good job. I declined it. I don't want to be on BBC. I don't want to be on CNN. I want to do this because I want to wake up in the morning without any problems. And I want to go to sleep without worrying that I'm a fucking asshole. So I'm sorry, there is no excuse.
And it's not I don't think you're talking down on anybody. We're all in the same boat. It's not like we're rich, people over here. And honestly, I have been, I've had money but I actually it's so funny. I told my members when I had I had over $1 million at one point recently and I blew it all.
You had $1 million and you screwed it all.
I had almost over 2 million. Yeah. And I just blew it all. I traveled, but I was actually besides when I was an addict, most people know, heroin addict and stuff. My second worst bottom was when I had over $1 million in my hands. That was actually my spiritual bottom, not just like I can't get out of this drug addict thing. It was the weirdest thing because I felt like I should have everything, but I was miserable. And it goes to show I'd rather be here making content, make a couple $1,000 a month if I'm lucky, and hang out with good people that want to know truth, that are supporting truth. Because what we're doing right now, what James is doing, whether you like him or not, if he has the intention, to do good and try to help our country, that's what we're all doing here. Like this guy, Libertarian Overwatch Pat, great kid, and he's reading this book. I mean, there's no money in this. I looked at his ex, he's got less than 100 followers. So it's like, we're doing this because we're more like human. I don't know what the word is, not humanist, but humans, we want to thrive and we want to share good information so we're all up to date on what's real and not the left-right divide that they're constantly taking everything and spinning it on, Exactly. Sorry, I went on a rant. But.
And no, you're right. And I can tell you, like me and James did this tour together and I watched him raise money. And it was painstaking process, dude. Like it was like he had to call the donors, and he's right when he says I don't do what my donors want me to, because he raises money a little bit differently. I could never do that. Like he calls people and he says, listen, I need money for this and this and this, and they send like thousands of dollars, but I cannot do that. I cannot ask for money. It's just not, my personality is different. Like if people want to give, great, but I can never ask for money. So that is a process that is really hard. Like it's really hard to ask for something, And so James has, how do I say this? He's brave to do that because he knows the job needs to be done. And it's hard to do all this stuff without money, but then you have to ask for money. And that's the hard part, because if you're me, you don't ask for anything in life. Like if people are, kind enough to give you great, but I watched him do it. I was like, dude, I could never do that. But, I guess he's braver than me, but he's right when he says, I don't do what my donors want me to do. They donate money because they like my work. it's not like the owner-slave relationship here. And he's right, because I watched it in real time. We were in the same car, stranded on a Texas highway for like over 4 hours. So
I wanted to bring it up because you told
Yeah.
me, but we didn't have
all
time.
right, do it. We had the, oh my gosh, guys. So we were, guess where we were going? We were going to Alex Jones' show and other shows that we were doing. And we got stranded because our tire blew out. And, you would think that extra tire would be there. So what? Well, it was not that easy. Trust me. We had so many problems getting this freaking tire off. In 4 hours, we were stranded, and we called the insurance, and they were like, yeah, we are on the spot. Like 2 hours after things, they're like, we are here. Where are you? And I'm like, no, we are here. You're not here, or we would see you. They went in a different state. They were in a completely different state, and it's like dead night, guys. And me and James are there, and so many things happened. James's boat had problems. Like this guy who was testing this new boat, he got and it was his dream to get this freaking boat. James loves the ocean, so finally he got this freaking boat, and he's testing it out. And his captain of the boat caught a rogue wave, so James is on the phone trying to figure out his brand new boat, the painstakingly getting money to buy the freaking tiny little boat. And is it intact? Like, what's going on? Is this guy alive? And I'm on the phone with the cops. We cannot change the freaking tire. It's different. Can you just send somebody? And next day we have to do Alex Jones's show in the morning. It was horrible. So finally we overnighted there in a hotel. Then we showed up with red eyes with Alex, and he was probably wondering, what the heck is wrong with you people? But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Hey, Burns, off topic. Have you looked into city of Asatana? No, I have not, but I will look into it. Why? Is there what's going on in that city?
It's the capital city of Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I've never.
I think it's Kazakhstan. Am I wrong or right?
It should be Kazakhstan. No, Kazakhstan.
Yeah, Kazakhstan. That's right.
Scott, hey, I'm broke, but I'm happy. No other way to be. Oh, you're so fine.
Kazakhstan and China reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening investment and business cooperations, linking Shenzhen and Almaty City out of Astana.
Astana?
It says Astana Kazakhstan and China. It's Astana Times. So I guess the capital city, and then maybe a city inside or suburb of.
Is there anything specific we need to look into? When you say look into it, city itself, I mean, it could be anything. Is there anything specific I need to look into? Whitney Bays 4167, thank you so much. Please interview John Riggs, his work. McLean Farms, Antonia, hold on, let me just do this. Take a screenshot here. Kentucky, the site was the subject of agriculture ghost fraud investigation, U.S. Trustee Office. I got it. I will look into that. Thank you for the tip. Yeah, we've got lots of investigations coming, guys. Tomorrow is going to be this demonic sex abuse stuff. And then next week is going to be a lot of globally stuff that you want to tune into. Yeah, so and if you want documentaries, my Kennedy Files, all 3 of them are out on a members only. It's a docuseries, so you should look into it, because one of the best work I've ever done. And when I say one of the best work, please believe it. It was so much travel, so many interviews, thousands of documents, literally 3 a.m. we were reading the declassified documents. So it's worthy. It's worthy of seeing. But
it's so funny that you're planning to do that tomorrow, because I've been on this kick, and that's why I even kind of went deeper on the Freemason stuff and the Satanism. And now I want to do, and then you said you're doing your show tomorrow. So that's interesting.
Are you doing your show tomorrow or when?
No. I'm going to do mine Saturday. I'm going to do a Dankster debrief tomorrow, 11 a.m. my time. But Saturday morning, 11 a.m., the members, I'm going to go and do a deep dive on Freemasonry and Satanism.
Dude, it's I interviewed Freemasons in DC, one of the highest ranking ones. Maybe I'll play a clip tomorrow, because they don't like me very much after my interview. So I approached them in a way that, hey, listen, there are lots of misconceptions about you guys. Let's clean it up. I knew they would not clean it up. I know I would come out with more questions. But me and Ivory, I don't know if you guys know Ivory Hecker. She's a former Fox News journalist. So we went over there in DC to interview Freemasons, and it was one of the funniest thing ever. So me and Arturo got into this argument. I was like, okay, I understand you're saying you're here to better the humanity, whatever. Explain that to me. And then I started pressing them. When you say you believe in God, what God? Because like high almighty might be like maybe you're devil worshiper and that's your God. Like they wouldn't tell me.
It's because it is. They can't tell you. They're sworn to secrecy by death. So if they do, I mean, they will take your tongue out and they will rip it out. So, and then they will cut this. I mean, there's stuff I can't even say. They sign the oath, but there's 2 layers. And a lot of the Freemasons that are in the first layer, this is the best way to explain it. It's a fraternity with a religion inside of the fraternity. Yeah. So not most, like 99%, or I don't know the percentage, but most bulk percent, they're just in the fraternity, But if you want to run the world and have the political power or the business power or just have anything you want, they actually practice rituals, and they don't call it witchcraft. They call it magic, ritual magic, something like that. Various words for it, but each rank and chapter, they all have different rules and things that they do. But in general, you cannot say anything, even if I think even in the first part. But it's all a cover, because as you go deeper in, it's like an iceberg. You only see the bulk is on top of the water, but the real stuff is under the water, and it goes all the way down to the blackest of darkest seas. And at the bottom, what you ultimately find is Satanism.
Wow, that's crazy, dude. We've got some more super chats here. A Barnes, also look into Neom. Look specifically at the architecture of both places. Oh,
that's the line city, the 15-minute city in the desert. Yeah.
And this is the second person that says, look at Astana. Okay, well, we are looking into freaking Astana. This is the second person that says that. Holy shit, guys. Like, first of all, I love my people. Like, I don't know your people, but I love my people of the chat, because you guys are giving me a lot of tips to what to look into all the time. So thank you so much for that. Okay, guys. So I think we covered everything for tonight. We are almost 2 hours and 20 minutes. If you guys have any more questions, just send right now, like next 15 minutes, so that we can wrap up. James, do you have a question? You got a lot of information now with O'Keefe, you are like kind of learning a lot.
I am learning a lot, and I think that's the most important part. I'm not out here to act like I know all this stuff, because I'll just very quickly make myself look stupid. But I think like some of the, when the conversation I'm in between and I'm listening, and it's like, okay, and then the video makes it sink. And I think like for me, as I learn, I love this stuff. I love history, but I just was up to no good for so long. I never got to indulge in that. So I have so many years to catch up on. So I'm just here learning, and reading. I'm getting back into reading. A member bought me this book, Chaos.
One of the best books, dudes. I have it.
It's crazy.
So it's crazy.
And I picked this one up. It's a short book. I just got it. It's At the Mountain of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft. And it's a fictional story, but it represents, like, basically the back of the book. It says, the more one learned of them, the more one realized that one's place in the universe was not secure. And a lot of people have tied this basically to new century AI. And so I'm really excited to read this. There's a whole series, but this one I was interested in for sure.
So that reminds me, Renee, you're getting a book. So I already have your text message. Elizabeth, look at your text messages. Like now, because I don't have anything from you, Renee. I don't have anything from you. Can you resend something? I have your message. We messaged each other about the book, but I don't send like a hi or something, because I don't have anything from you.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, I'm just grateful to be a part of the conversation and you inviting me on, and I've learned a lot from you so much, you know, and yeah, man, I'm just happy to be here and spread whatever I can of truth. That's what I'm all about, you know. I can't imagine I'd be here today being able to do this, you know, with the likes of you and others and just the friends that I have in my life today and the members in the audience. I'm just the amount of love that I received was just
Sorry, guys. Got it, Renee. Go on,
yeah.
please.
No, I was just saying all the members and all the people just because we had the baby, it was just incredible, man. My wife and I and my daughter even were moved, and I'm just grateful, you know. So that's what I'm here for, and I'm here for it.
Good. That was awesome. Sorry, I was Renee. Yes. So this is something that John will want to look at. So I will send it to him, and I will respond to you after this. So and I will let you know where he's. Well, by the way, for my members, once in every 3 months, like I always pick like one member or two or a few of them and send them a book that helped me. So like Renee got one, and there's another member that hasn't been live yet. So when he comes on, I'll tell him who he is. And so I'm just sending them books so that they can experience what I experienced. Oh, we've got some more chats. Hey, Burns. I was traumatized from 2015 to 2023 for seeking truth. Then you showed up and spoke about stuff others wouldn't. Oh, okay. That is the biggest compliment anyone can ever give me, quite honestly. And I'm being very honest here. Thank you so much. Thank you for facing the giants. You frustrate me, but I love you.
I think we can tell. We can tell both the
Yes.
frustration and the love.
It's like both. It's love and hate relationship.
I like it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, I think we're good. Thank you so much, Renee, for sending this. Josh, I see you in the chat. Yeah, so guys, if you're just now joining and you haven't seen James O'Keefe's beginning, go back in the beginning of this video and check it out. I mean, James killed it. So please do.
Yep. We got to show up and show out for people doing good work. So go back and check it out. And if you haven't, like, subscribe to both of us, become a member. And I'll see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for our debrief.
Liz Danks and Kurt Metzinger, go deep. It will be an amazing episode. We will do that.
We could probably do that. We did a show with Jimmy Dore, and Kurt couldn't make it. But yeah, it'd be great to have Kurt. I like him a lot.
Let's invite him and all three of us get on.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm down. Sounds good.
Thank you, guys. We love you very, very much. Subscribe Thanks channel. Subscribe mine if you're not a subscriber. And we'll see you very soon. Thank you.
All right. Cheers. Love you all. Peace.
Bye.